Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning back into Relevant Jukebox. So 2019 is now over and it is time to look forward into the future for 2020. And 2019 was a really solid year for music, I thought, so I got a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to in 2020, stuff I hope that's gonna happen. Some of them have confirmed release dates, a lot of them don't, so I'm kind of just have my fingers crossed that they'll drop. So yeah, let's get into this list. First off, I'm actually really looking forward to the new MGMT record. After I heard that single that they dropped about a month ago, it got my mouth watering. Really digging like the dark kind of gothy post-punky turn they're taking on here, and it's one of their best singles to date. Next up, I'm also looking forward to the new Idols record that's supposed to be dropping soon. They've just been one of the more intriguing bands to come out of the UK recently, and I actually heard online that Kenny Beats is supposed to be producing this thing, so I'm really curious to see how that's gonna come together, maybe it'll be a little more hard-hitting. Of course, I am looking forward to the new Frank Ocean record that I'm hoping is gonna drop sometime this year. Both of the singles that he's dropped have been good, but kind of like I have mixed feelings on him now that I've been sitting with him for a while. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty enamored with Frank Ocean as a songwriter. Next up, a record that's been teased for a little while now, but Playboi Carti's Whole Lotta Red. I'm pretty sure this is gonna drop sometime earlier in the year, I would hope. I mean, he's been teasing it a lot on social media, and he doesn't really talk online that much. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get some more earworm bangers from Playboi. I'm also looking forward to a new Avalanches album, hopefully dropping this year. They've also been teasing new music on their social media accounts, so I'm really looking forward to see what they can pull together. I'm also looking forward to potentially another Charli XCX project in 2020. She has also been talking about following up Charli fairly quickly this year with one, maybe two projects that I've heard, so I'm really curious to see if she keeps this hot streak going of pushing pop music into the future. Next is actually one that's kind of surprising for me, is the new Tame Impala record, The Slow Rush. I'm not too huge on Tame Impala, honestly, but a lot of these singles that have been dropping here I think is some of their best material to date, so I'm just kind of curious to see if they'll win me over for an entire full-length album. How could you not be anticipating a new Kendrick Lamar record in 2020? He's actually been really quiet since the release of Damn, so I'm curious if he's got some fire to drop on us this year. Very excited and intrigued to see what Kira Bonito are gonna do to follow up Time and Place. That EP that they dropped in 2019 was fantastic, some of their best material to date, so I'm just really curious to see how that's gonna follow through on another full-length album, hopefully. Also was reading a lot online that The Cure potentially have new music that's gonna come out in 2020. They have been in the studio and planning a tour and all that, so I mean, I'm really excited to see what they'll pull out. Run the Jewels 4 is apparently going to drop finally this year after long being teased by LP on Twitter. He says it's gonna be the most hard-hitting Run the Jewels record yet to be released, so I am really curious to hear how that's gonna come to fruition. Now, a follow-up hasn't officially been announced yet, but I do think Spirit of the Beehive are gonna be due for a new full-length in 2020. If you have not heard their record Hypnic Jerks that came out in 2018, I highly suggest you check that out. These guys are just like the best kept secret in indie rock in my opinion, and so I am just watering at the mouth for a new full-length. I am not quite sure how I'm gonna feel about the new Grimes album that's dropping in February, but I am looking forward to it. I am a pretty big fan of Grimes, but a lot of the singles have been real hit or miss for me, so I don't really know what's gonna happen. I'm also really curious to see if SZA is gonna come out of hiding and follow up Control finally. She has had a really weird, rocky kind of fallout after the release of that record, and if you've been following her online, she's been talking about quitting music multiple times, so I mean, I am really curious to see if she's gonna follow through on a follow-up to Control. Also, really anticipating a full-length debut from Rina Sawayama. She's an up-and-coming pop star that released a really intriguing EP, Ordinary Superstar, and the single that she dropped was interesting and had her fusing a lot of elements of nu metal, like what you'd hear Poppy or Grimes do recently. So, I mean, I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Maybe it's just for this single, but we'll see what happens on a full length. Also looking forward to a new Sky Ferreira LP dropping, hopefully this year, finally. She has just been in absolute hibernation mode since the release of Nighttime, My Time, so I don't really know how it's gonna pan out, but I really did enjoy that record, and the single that she dropped I enjoyed as well, so I'm looking to see if she's gonna continue to go down that dark, kind of smoky rabbit hole. What will George Clanton do in 2020? He did kind of have a breakthrough of sorts with his album Slide, so I'm just fingers crossed that he's gonna stick the landing on his follow-up to that one. I'm also really curious to see what 100 gecs will do in 2020. They were the breakthrough artists of 2019 for me, with a really fresh, new kind of sound. So we'll see what happens. Are they just gonna be a meme, or are they gonna actually continue to push forward into the future? Now, 2019 was the only year that I can recall in recent memory since they started that Death Grips did not do anything as far as new music. So what's gonna happen in 2020? Are we gonna get another weird rollout of a record with like 20 singles like Year of the Snitch? Or are we just gonna get a surprise out of nowhere? Or are we gonna get an experimental odd EP kind of detour thing before another full length? I have no idea, but that's what keeps me going, keeps me being a Death Grips fan. And finally, easily my most anticipated record of 2020, I don't think it'll come out though, is the new My Bloody Valentine EP or full length. Now, every time Kevin Shields comes out of hiding and says he's gonna release new music, I instantly get elated. But history has taught me that that is a patient man's game, and he's been talking about an EP, potentially 4 in this new series leading up to a full length. And it was supposed to drop last year and we didn't get anything, but they did tour and played new material live, so that is a very promising sign of progress. So who knows, we'll see what happens in 2020. Fingers are double crossed for My Bloody Valentine. And yeah, that concludes it for my list here of 20 records I'm anticipating in 2020. Let me know in the comments down below what records you guys are excited for to come out in 2020. And as always, thank you for watching. If you want more content from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace.